Good evening. There will be no cuts to Toronto's police budget. Councillors voting tonight against downsizing the single largest line item in the city's budget to help pay for other community initiatives. But despite that failed item, councillors agree that change is needed, and they did vote in favor of other measures aimed at making the city safer.
Investing in our communities and alternatives to policing make our communities safer. It costs less money. It saves lives. It saves lives.
That was the argument being made by those who support a cut to the City of Toronto's biggest budget item. Councillor Josh Matlow, supported by Kristen Wong-Tam, calling for 10% of the police's $1.22 billion budget to be spent on community initiatives aimed at the root problems that often contribute to violence and crime. Millions could be redirected to youth programs, affordable housing, and a non-police-led response team for mental health crises.
Right now, an armed police officer shows up first, and they make a mess of things, and then we have a conversation about what went wrong. And that is that we've been doing this for too long, where too many things have gone wrong, and we need to be able to reset that from ground zero.
Calls around the world to defund police have gained widespread support in the wake of the killing of George Floyd, a black man who died at the hands of a white police officer in Minnesota. Closer to home, Regis Korchinski-Paquette and Andrew Loku in Toronto, as well as Ijaz Chaudhry and DeAndre Campbell in Peel Region, all killed by police while responding to a crisis. All reasons community groups say police should not be responsible for mental health calls.
I don't support arbitrary cuts. If something is put in place that enhances community safety, I would definitely consider that. But I certainly, as a police chief, would like to see what it was to ensure that it either meets the standard or exceeds the standard.
Police Chief Mark Saunders says he believes his force is properly trained to deal with mental health, but he does support an alternative community-based team, pointing out, though, it doesn't yet exist, and he doesn't want the funding coming out of the police's budget. Mayor Tory agreeing that community safety measures need to be explored, but not at the expense of police funding.
We will make the investments we have to make, but we will also, I think, reform policing in a way that is done sensibly and in a considered way, and not based on a debate about a number, but based on what is the right way to do it now, as soon as possible, to bring about the kind of change that people expect and need.
Councillor Cole.
Opposed.
Councillor Crawford.
Opposed.
In the end, the mayor got his way, with the council voting 16-8 against redirecting $122 million from police to other initiatives. Also defeated a motion to ban the use of deadly force and military-style weapons such as tear gas against civilians, that failing 8-16. But the city did vote in favor of allowing the province to amend the Police Services Act to allow officers to be suspended without pay, and for an accountability office to be established for Toronto Police. Meanwhile, Tory's motion to ask police to implement body-worn cameras by January 1st passed 17-7. That would add another $2.5 million to Toronto Police's budget. Now, staff confirmed to City Council that since 2013, Toronto's police budget has increased by 19.4%. In comparison, the city's investments in social services has grown by 13%.